Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 49 of Wearables Weekly. We're doing a special Friday edition this week, and joining me from my left is Noble Ackerson.
Hello. Hi. Deer in the headlights, Noble Ackerson saying hi.
Hey, welcome. And Aaron Kasten.
Hello. My mouth is full.
Aaron, you
sorry.
look a little different this week. I'm not quite sure why, but...
Are you talking about the mustache or my haircut?
Little of both.
I shaved. There. Is that better?
Nice. Cool. So a couple things happened this week. I guess we can start talking about... Okay, first thing, Intel Developer Forum happened here in San Francisco. I'll get, by the way, if anybody's tuning in because of the Apple Watch announcement, we're covering that on another show. We're not going to talk about that. You know, of course, that's like going to be probably the first half of the show, but I'll just mention some other stuff too. So Intel Developer Forum was this week, Tuesday through Thursday. Covered a lot of wearables, actually, different than the format of the last year that I attended. So it was very, very interesting, and I'll talk about it a little bit also later. Also, Libby and I went to D.C., visited Mr. Ackerson. Very, very nicely hosted us for a couple of nights.
Yeah, we were honored to have you.
And we also got to meet Sparrow, so that was a very nice little surprise.
Yes, Queen Sparrow. Queen Sparrow was almost too sad to see you guys go, but she was too busy drinking milk and pooping to notice.
As babies are wont to do. And also, I just wanted to give Aaron a chance to throw out a little update about the barbecue. There was a special announcement a couple of days ago.
My watch just died.
And there's your special announcement. Go ahead.
Sad. Anyways, yeah, big exciting things for the Big Android Barbecue. We announced that Rita Meyer and Timothy Jordan are going to come and do our keynote. So that's really exciting.
Very good.
And that's just the beginning. There's more to announce, but we're going to kind of, you got to like slowly put it out. So there's still stuff to talk about.
Very cool, very cool. I mean,
yeah.
The barbecue's always got a lot of cool stuff, great speakers, good code kitchen, and all this stuff. But is this the first time you had actual Google Android advocates?
We've had speakers from Google, but never any like official Google speakers. Like this is official Google support sending speakers, not people who work at Google coming to speak. Does that make sense? Like there's a little bit of difference.
No, it's very cool. I mean, so for those of you who don't know Timothy Jordan, I know him a little bit better than the other. He's like currently the Android Wear advocate, formerly or maybe still currently Google Glass advocate. So it'll be really interesting to see what kind of design tips he can throw out at us.
Before we go any further, it's Friday, and we're doing things a little bit different because, I don't know, why not? It's Friday. So Noble, because Keith is afraid that he can't handle himself, Noble and I are participating in a little sport this evening. We're going to, anytime one of us slips up and says iWatch rather than Apple Watch, we have to take a drink. So I think we should do it like anytime anybody in the Hangout says it, we should both drink. I was going to do it just, if you say it, you have to drink. If I say it, I have to drink. If Keith says it, I have to drink still.
Both have to drink.
But maybe we should just both drink every time.
I think this is going to be very fun, especially towards the end of this hangout.
This is what I'm drinking.
Just don't say I watch. Oh, damn it. Gotta drink.
Nope. Drink.
Did you do that on purpose? Keith's going to do this on purpose, and we're going to be in trouble. This is what I'm drinking.
If Tim Cook can do it, then I think we're all okay to do it. So.
Where is it? 9.2% alcohol. By volume. So yeah, I play high stakes.
Wow, yeah, I'm drinking a Bud Light.
That's why I've already drank this much, and you can see like my eyes are drooping a little bit. Maybe they're a little red.
Good.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a very long show.
It's gonna be a fun show.
Cool. So since we already mentioned the big news of the week is the Apple Watch, which we have all been misreferring to as the previously named
when you're
watch.
Discussing it like that, it's when it's a mistake. Yeah.
Right. So previously we've been calling it the iWatch for at least the last year, probably going back further than that. But the Apple Watch was announced by Apple. So coincidentally, it was also the first day of the Intel Developer Forum, which I'm sure wasn't great for for getting pressed out in that regard. But lots to talk about. So first thing, I'm just going to go down this list because it goes on and on. So 2 sizes. It's not one device. It's actually 3 different editions and 2 different sizes. So that's interesting. I guess it's not really one standard platform like Apple is used to.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Does anybody else find it odd that Apple's suddenly embracing this, like, you get to choose? Like, we'll let you choose. I'm like, what's going on here? Maybe
different captain running the ship.
Yep, definitely.
That's true. And it's probably good they have like a smaller size, at least for the ladies. I know that anytime we've had a device, either the Moto or the LG or Samsung, it always tends to look alright on my wrist. Or I'm sure on you guys too. You have big wrists, but like Libby, on the other hand, it's a little tight. Samsung was alright.
It is.
Yeah.
But there was also these 3 editions. So I got the impression the first one was just called the Watch, like no special thing. Then the Watch Sport and the Watch Edition. No problem. Anytime a dog barks, take a drink too. I think that's it.
All right, I'll drink to that.
Cool.
I'm here for the beer.
So since I was occupied during the keynote and I've read all my news after the fact, please feel free to correct me on anything I might have got a misconception about. But the standard, is that the watch, and what's different about the Sport Edition? You guys know?
The bands and the
it looks like the bands.
The finish, and maybe we don't know for sure, but the water resistance or the depth or something like that. I know if you looked at one of the product photos, it showed that it was you could submerge.
Really? That's surprising.
Or I may just be making that up. I thought I saw a photo that showed some etching like any other watch at the bottom of it. And
let me share a couple of imagery here. So, so this is I guess a couple of different band options on the standard watch. So it is a typical. So I guess we should start by saying it is a smartwatch. We weren't always sure it was going to be not just a fitness band or something like that, but it's actually a watch very much like Android Wear, except with standalone apps that you can launch from the.
Man, that looks ridiculous.
It's okay. I mean,
some of them are definitely okay.
Yeah. The watch faces, you mean?
Well, the watch faces band combo, like just. I think the watch looks kind of thick and clunky as well, a little bit, but
I think my gut reaction is that it was a little bit disappointing. Yeah, I mean it's fine. It looks like a fine smartwatch, kind of like some of the Android watches we've seen, but nothing like super crazy. I think what did you guys expect for the screen dimensions? We kind of took bets last week. I think I said square curved, like square, but it was going to be like wrap around the wrist a little bit. So I guess half right there. What were you guys' guesses?
I think I said round.
I said a rectangular shape with curved edges.
I think one person in the
I actually did say that.
Did say that. Yeah, I think you did say that. Were you privy to knowledge that we didn't know about?
No, I just guessed.
So one of the other, one of the design features.
Let's take these one topic at a time and discuss them.
Okay.
I want to go back to the 2 watch sizes. I'm surprised that it was Apple to be the first one to do that. First off, but kudos, because now it'll mean that Android Wear will follow suit, which is awesome. The 3 editions I don't really think make a whole lot of sense.
Well, when you say Android Wear follows suit, you have to understand that Google isn't like they're not really putting too much stock into the hardware. They are shipping this off as they traditionally do with Android until maybe they want to decide to do a reference device, which they will. I want to call it a Nexus watch. You heard it here first. If they do decide to do that, then we can sort of say, all right, they'll come out with one size or another, or they'll tend to do.
Okay. When I say Android Wear, I mean the manufacturers as part of Android Wear as a whole will start to see different sized watch faces. catering to different markets. Right now, they've been mostly the similar size square face or this. So yeah.
Yep.
I think we'll see that trickle out to Android now.
Yeah. So on the plus side, I mean, let's see. Can somebody pull up a picture of the side by side of the large and small watch faces? I can get one because the small one, even though the numbers are 38 and 42, it seems significantly smaller, which is
okay. So the elephant in the room here is the choice of user interface that they decided to go with in correlation with the size of these watches, especially if they're going to have a small size. Does anyone think that they sort of didn't think through the size of the watch versus... I guess we've never really played with it, so we can't really tell if that...
Yeah, it's tough to say. I think that's where the crown comes in. It's supposed to resolve that for them.
To a point.
Yeah, to that effect, I think if I were going to guess, and neither Google or Apple had released their operating system, but we knew that Wear and this operating system running on the Apple Watch were the two. We knew those were the operating systems, but we didn't know which went to which. I would guess that the Apple Watch OS was the Android Wear, and the Android Wear OS was actually the Apple OS.
And I completely 100% agree. Especially tells you that Google has come a long way from that company that was always accused as not understanding design to this past week being recognized as they won some sort of user experience award or something that was pretty respectful for them. They chose specifically not to show a grid of icons, and I don't care if it's in a circular grid or whatever you want to call it.
the cloud or whatever.
The cloud of whatever to launch. Frankly, to the ire of a lot of people, where I know I miss Cecilia on this show. I really wanted to hear her opinion on this, but the fact that you're sort of porting over the mobile paradigm of like grid of apps, launch it on the watch versus Google's idea, which is extend notifications. And I know Cecilia, let me channel my inner Cecilia, is like, oh, notifications are too simple, but we all know that that's just an extension of it. You can do more. There's going to be an SDK, or I'm sure there's going to be an SDK, and if not already, I don't know. Has there been an SDK announcement?
For Android Wear?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can launch apps on the device, but you have to go through that weird settings thing. It's not easy.
Right. So they decided to sort of bury that a little bit and make it easier for you to call up apps by command, right, by voice, versus going through a grid of things. And I think that is sort of, if you look at wearables as sort of micro interaction, things that don't consume you and sort of taking away the device itself and just using your voice or your gestures, then I think Google thought this through. Not to be a fanboy or anything, which I am, but
Of course we all are. But yeah, to your point, I agree that Google has made incredible strides in not just the last year, the last 3 years or so with Android and then with Glass and Wear, to streamline the interface. They even took Apple's idea, of decluttering, getting rid of buttons, stuff like that, even further than Apple has. In this case,
and that actually goes to Aaron's point, like completely. Like,
right.
If you had guessed, like, who would have released what without knowing who it was.
And it's also very much like the what you need to know when you need to know it. I mean, even if it doesn't always execute exactly as intended, the idea is to get out of your way, let you enjoy the experience. And I'm a little surprised that Apple has that the launcher the way they do, especially the sort of bubbly icons. It doesn't seem very well suited to that device.
Well, with that said, let me sort of play devil's advocate, as I normally try to do, and say we're probably all going to use this. And since Apple is so good at designing user experiences that heavily include hardware and have excelled at that more than anyone else, I think that there is a chance that the crown and the entire experience of the watch will seem so fluid and symbiotic that you wouldn't even care that you have a grid of icons. I just want to sort of play it from the other side. It would just be such a natural user experience that you would forget that you would have a completely different experience in a phone.
Sure.
I'm just concerned that we might just have a bunch of icons.
Yeah, I guess what surprises me a little bit is that it seems like with the crown. I mean, once they've decided that they're adopting this crown, sorry, we should say the crown, a little dial on the side.
Right.
Once they adopted that as their interface mechanism, it seems like they could have used that to maybe go through rows of icons or something like that. But just to have a random zoom panning.
It's a new design. It's a new design experience. Hey, so can you enable Q&A since the show's already started, or does it have to be enabled
I think
before?
it was enabled. Oh, let me try.
No, it says it's disabled.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, anybody watching, feel free to pop in some questions. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about this with other people. I mean,
so there's so much to talk about. So let's just keep going with some.
No, let's keep talking about Apple.
No. Keep going. We're on
let's keep going on the
three
same
of like
thing,
30 points on the Apple thing alone. So
Right.
we
just covered the third one.
Yeah. So as far as the everybody wearing this in a couple of years, one of the big hindrances to that is going to be that anybody that follows Apple would have always known it works only with the iPhones 5 and 6. Which kind of always cuts out the Android folks. I think Android Wear does work with iPhone and Android, but not the other.
No, not fully functional, because Wear heavily uses notifications. I don't have an iPhone, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't do the same. It doesn't fully support iOS notifications, does it?
As a non-iPhone user, I can't speak to it exactly. I know that it's compatible, but maybe that's just for internet connectivity. I'm not positive.
Yeah, so for pass-through BT, Bluetooth connectivity to your 4G, yes. But for what we get, maybe GPS, yes. Maybe some things, but some of the richer notification experiences that you get from sort of adding Wear capability on your APK, that is not exposed to iOS just yet. And Google's, who knows what they're planning. Maybe it might be available in the future.
Could that be the next big surprise? Is maybe Apple actually decides to support it?
Yeah, right.
I think you've been in this for long enough.
Not gonna happen.
So there were some other. So I guess the positive design things that I would say about the iWatch are, as Aaron alluded to before, the interchangeable bands. Use a very interesting mechanism, which, I would initially say, fault them for not going with standards, but in this case, I think the standards kind of stuck. So they kind of went around with their own way of changing bands. And let me grab a picture.
I'm perfectly fine. I like that. That's the best thing about that watch.
Love it.
Now, if they want to gain my full love, they can make this a standard that other people can adopt without having to pay licensing fees. That'd be cool too. But
you think that's what's going to happen? You don't think just third-party guys are just going to go ahead and do it?
I think there are going to be third-party guys, and there was going to be guys from markets that don't really care about getting sued, and there will be people that will just pay whatever Apple asks them to pay. But I don't think that they're going to make this a generally available feature for, like, say, watchmakers in general. I'm trying to find a photo that would have a... So you can sort of see the cutout here, but that's not exactly it either. Let's go back to the beginning.
I'm not sure they had a good one.
There was one where it was just starting to slide out, but...
Yeah, you had one of those pictures, actually. There we go.
So this one here, you can sort of see it, this thing slides out. I don't know what keeps it in there. I'm guessing you have to hit this little button here.
Yeah, there's that little locking mechanism.
And they showed off several bands that were interesting, so you get this little chain.
That one in particular is interesting. Yeah, that one.
If there's something particularly special besides the design, let me know, because they were talking about some that had these magnetic attachments and.
Yeah, so it's almost reminiscent to the
MagSafe.
Yeah.
MagSafe,
Was this
That's a magnetic one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, and then there's a metal one that's similar to that. The one that actually
has a clasp on the bottom.
No, it uses magnets as well. There's no clasp. It's just like it's that chain link looking one that we were just looking at.
Okay, gotcha.
But you couldn't tell that it was magnet.
And of course, the #1 feature, you get a Mickey Mouse watch face officially with this.
Yay!
I was a little surprised. That's I guess they have a Pixar connection, but otherwise,
Oh, yeah.
a little odd. So, and the other interest or good design choice I would say is the MagSafe connector for the
Charging.
Yeah, for charging. So I mean, we finally seen our first Android Wear watch, the Moto 360 that has it. But with Apple, it goes even a little further, where it auto aligns and snaps on there and kind of holds on.
Wow.
So that's a good choice. No, I mean it's. Hey, I'll give them
that's like. I mean, it's the way a device charges is you're not going to charge until you're going to bed. So if you got to actually connect a plug, set it on a little mat, connect the magnetic, it really doesn't matter. If the watch doesn't get you till you're going to bed, then that's the issue.
I loved your post about that today. Like, I was like, that is absolute. None of the gimmickry. Just make it last.
Yeah, I don't care. Just make it through the day and then make me plug it in. I'm fine with that.
So you raise an interesting point with regard to the deafening silence of battery life on this device. They didn't mention anything about it, even though right at the same time Moto 360 was kind of getting crushed for having battery life issues.
Who thinks they initiated that in the press? They've had some stealthy.
I don't think it's a press-related issue. It's serious. Like I had better experience today than yesterday, but yesterday I first day with it, fully charged before I left, barely used it. I'm talking about the Moto 360, of course. Got like just under 8 hours. Like,
interesting.
Totally not acceptable. Today's been better, so I'm not sure if there was an update that came through or something. But
I've got 13 hours. I've gotten about 13 to 14 hours both days, but I've noticed it definitely disconnects and reconnects from time to time on Bluetooth. Because I have that like Wear Aware or whatever it is, and so when it disconnects, it's like you left your phone behind, and I'm like, no, I didn't. It's in my pocket. And that never happened on my other watch, so I don't know what's up with that. But that is probably a big part of the reason that people are experiencing horrible battery life.
Yeah. One plus I can say about the wireless charging of the Apple device over the 360 is, even though I like this cradle, I should pull it out real quick. The 360 comes with this cradle that you kind of dock your watch in, and it shows up as a little clock on your nightstand. That's cool and all, except that it's a little clunky to have to carry this around to the office, or if you have to charge it somewhere besides exactly where it is, or else you have to buy another one somehow, which you can't do yet.
It will charge on any other cheap pad.
True. So if you have a flat one, hopefully not one that's like inclined.
Yeah, a flat one or the tilt. Matt used his tilt. I have a flat one. I haven't tried it on my flat one yet, but. Yeah, that's why I'm like, just give me a plug, man. I got 1 million micro USB. I don't care. That's fine with me. Just make it through the day.
All right. And the other general announcement about the iWatch was that the
boom drink
price is $350. Oh.
Drink, Noble.
Oh, jeez.
Cheers.
You didn't. What's sad is that you didn't do that on purpose.
I didn't. I swear.
That's the point. I have those same glasses, by the way, Keith. Good taste.
What's that? Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm serious. The little glass.
The little water goblet.
Yeah, I have the same thing.
Ever since I got these, I don't know, some years ago, I like this as well.
I like them.
Anyway.
Sorry, totally off out of nowhere. Where were we?
I believe actually earlier in the show, like when we first started, Jason Salas thought that I was drinking some kind of really white wine every time we were doing this show, though.
Nice.
So the price of the Apple Watch starts at $350. They didn't say where it goes up to, but that it starts at $350, which is okay, good. I mean,
little high or no, it's pretty. It's
not so far out of range. I'm curious to know where the top level is.
Yeah.
They didn't describe, so this the watch edition is supposed to be rose-colored gold or whatever, gold-coated, this and that. So maybe that one's going to be up there a little bit, but no way to know. All right, so some of the other stuff. Gosh, we can just go on and on about this. So watch, actually, Health Kit is what I want to know about, and we have an expert on all things fitness on the show. So I don't know what your impression is, or if you know anything about it.
So have they? So WatchKit, yes, SDK or equivalent for their watch, and then HealthKit is one of the main three is sort of the next way we sort of store our health data, right? These big companies like Apple, Samsung, Google recognize that let me just talk about Samsung and Google recognize that people are going to use different wearables. Apple recognizes that you're going to use their wearable. And you need to store your data somewhere, right? And have it accessible maybe to a developer to do stuff with it for you. And these are, I call them sort of health frameworks, right? For a bank for your health data. So you'll be able to, just like Basis does pretty well, track your sleep, track your, well, when I say track, I mean historically map your sleep, historically map your walking, your different things that you do in the health matters, your caloric intake and stuff like that, securely in the iCloud. Securely in the cloud for you to be able to sort of see trends and stuff like that. And hopefully it saves your life someday, because you'll be able to see that whenever you go for a run, you tend to have that headache that your doctor. Let me step back for a second. So HealthKit gets stuff from wearables, and it also gets stuff from your doctor visits and stuff where you have allowed it, as far as I understand. So
is that something they talked about? I hadn't heard about the.
In the keynote, if you remember, they were already working with a clinic, and the name of the clinic escapes me right now, but you can definitely dial that up.
That's interesting, because usually, I mean, not this product in particular, but usually when it comes to these fitness trackers, they're really careful not to cross the line where they get into FDA territory. Or
HealthKit is not a fitness tracker, right? HealthKit is, again, a bank for your health information. Let me look up the clinic that they were working with, and this was announced in their
and while you're doing
Mayo
that,
Clinic. The Mayo Clinic. So, all right. So they also so they partnered with a couple. So there's another organization called Epic.
Man, there's no way I would let Apple be the company. I mean, that's.
Well, this is not the first time anyone has done this. If you remember, Microsoft has their own health framework. They've been doing it for years. Even before then, Google had Google Health.
Sure. Which I was actually having my stuff ported into, and it was really sad to see that go away.
So Mayo Clinic selects to work with Apple and use HealthKit. Now, when I go to the Mayo Clinic and I want my health data, they tell me I need an Apple device?
No. No, it's the other way around. If you happen to have an Apple device and you care about historically tracking your health,
But that's what I'm saying. What if I don't have an Apple device and I still care about historically tracking my health?
Then use Samsung or use Google
or it'll probably be available.
Hey, Google has one, then I'm on board because I know it'll work. If I want to take that data with me later, I can take it somewhere else.
Well, I don't know for a fact if Google Fit does
the
health stuff.
I think they're staying on the side, like not crossing the line in that case.
Yeah, because for some reason
there's an EMR company that several of the clinics around here use, and so like our family doctor uses it, and then one of the other doctors Heather went to used it, and it was really cool because when she went to that doctor, all her information was right there. There was no like, oh, I got to refill out all the same information. I may have forgotten this one thing. She's like, yeah, they thought I was taking hydrocodone because I got prescribed it when I had a surgery 2 years ago, and I'm like, no, I never even took one pill out of the bottle. But it's just that I think that's good that it's able to transfer like that. I'd like control over it personally. I think that's where HealthKit kind of comes in a little bit.
Cool. And HealthKit works not just with the watch, but on the whole platform too. So you can use it with phones. Okay. So we'll learn a little bit more, I guess, as that rolls out.
I hope Google gets into that game a little bit more.
They were already in that game and they yanked it.
That's the problem. Like they.
By the way, I still can't access Q&A.
Yeah, it's still not working for me either.
It's.
I don't think you can start it once the show.
Yeah, I guess not.
I think it had to already be going. Great, Keith. You ruined the whole podcast. You have to drink for that one. Drink your water.
We go get something strong. All right. And so the other I guess the last point about the iWatch in general was that we're not going to see it for a while. They decided to announce it probably to squash any extra Christmas sales for Android Wear and other platforms, but they're not going to have it out until early 2015. So,
have we talked about how it looks though?
Not yet. Let's do that.
Okay. No. If we're not there yet, then
no. I think we're wrapped up anyway on it. So yeah. Just the look of the watch.
Yeah, go for it. Does someone want to share it real quick?
Design.
I think it is. So if you took the features out of it, and you just looked at the watch from a premium finish product, and you looked at what it promised outside of the OS, and this is just opinions ahead, right? I think it looks like a fantastic entry for Apple. Obviously, it's not going to stay looking like that. I think it's a very, very well designed piece of hardware. But I don't like it as I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm not in that ecosystem, so maybe I'm a little biased. But I don't really think it's. I've seen so many other entries in the wearable smartwatch category. I would rather wear a Fitbit than wear that. Sorry.
So I will agree and disagree on a couple of points. So I agree that the finish looks very nice, very smooth, very they always take care of the details. I trust Apple for that. The general design, it's okay. I mean, to me it looks a lot like the Asus Android Wear watch that was announced recently. It's not particularly inspired. It's okay. I think they can work with this going forward. One thing that surprised me a little bit though was seeing as how it's not really contoured to an arm. It's not curved in that way. It does come across to me as kind of thick, and like Aaron's showing there, it's even more than the chrome part. You don't really see this as much in the in the demo pictures because usually you don't see a full profile. But you got this big thing jutting out of the back, the sensor that kind of pushes into the skin, in addition to the thickness that you actually see. Any thoughts?
So I think I agree with Noble on some points, and I'm with you. I disagree on some points. I wouldn't wear it because I'm not in the ecosystem as well, so that doesn't fit for me. I do think one thing they got right. I think it's just a square screen, and then they just rounded the edges of the watch, but there's no clear bezel really. Like all of the other current Android Wear square watches have a serious bezel to them, and so I think as far as the watch face, they did a really great job with that. Just making the watch face what mattered, the important part, and so I think they did a really great job with that. It looks thick and clunky and just it looks like an iPhone 1 was shrunk down and then added a sensor on the back, glued a sensor on the back. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like to me. And then, the crown, they threw that in as well. It's really thick, or it looks really thick. It may not be. It's hard to tell from just photos. I thought the Moto watch, which by the way, I'm already up to 25% on this thing. It charges super fast. I thought the Moto watch was going to be much, much thicker than it turns out that it is. I mean, it's thinner than the watches that I never used to wear. So, it may not be as thick as it looks, and so it may not be bad, but it looks thick and clunky to me. It looks more like a toy, but I like that the watch face goes edge to edge almost.
I think in one or two one or two iterations from now when it's half this thick and maybe they've done some other improvements. I think it'll be a good platform, but yeah, like you said, it looks very thick right now. So, and I really want to know about that battery life because that's been the biggest hindrance for.
Tell me this doesn't look like it would have been from Google. I mean, this just looks straight from Google. That weather screen right there. I'm like, that doesn't look Apple to me. That looks Apple. I'm not surprised by that. That too. Like, it's just a bunch of information. There's no like design. Okay, it matches the wristband a little bit. You know, they probably did that in Photoshop, but like that's very Google. It's very like the whole. Oh yeah, there was something else I want to talk about. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to this stuff in a second, but
yeah, we're gonna have to fly through this stuff.
We're
taking our time.
Let's go over this health thing real quick. I wanted to jump in a minute ago. This makes no sense to me. This like curved circles of stand, exercise, and move. Like one thing Google or Apple has been pretty good at in the past, at least I thought they were really good at, was presenting information in an easy to understand way that users could interpret and react to, that my mother could understand. The fact that I don't know what any of that means says a lot to me about what's going on at Apple right now. Like this whole circle thing just makes no sense.
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be. At this point, it's 6 months out. They may not be finished with this stuff yet, so I think they just want to make something look pretty, and they'll figure it out later.
Hopefully.
I mean, you notice that a lot of reporters got their hands on the device so they could feel it and see it, but it wasn't working. None of these were actually working. They were just like videos playing on the screen. So
did I say iWatch a couple of times in there?
Well, you better be safe. To go ahead and there you go.
I'm out of beer now. Heather.
So, all right, I'm just going to go through a couple of things. Feel free to jump in at any of these. So, let's clarify. So, Sapphire coating. So that should be very good about scratching or not scratching. They kind of mentioned that you have to lift to activate it, so that implies there's no like always on mode like you can choose at least with the Android watches. Difference between tap and force detection. So when you're tapping or hard tapping. It makes some kind of difference. I don't see the value very much.
A lot of people seem to think that's a big deal. I don't know why that's a big deal. I don't understand. I guess maybe it could determine a long press better than a short press, but
I think they just wanted to be able to coin a new term, taptic, in this case. So
yeah,
it's taptastic, but yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, but yes, on the taptic thing. Every single touch interface has been doing that for years. It's not unique to Apple. They need to stop pretending as if they're inventing shit. So.
Oh, come on. That's their MO. They have to invent everything. Come on. Oh, they also invented NFC. I don't know if you saw there's a payment system that uses NFC. I've never seen that before.
I've never
Revolutionary. Revolutionary.
Though I do appreciate that they entered that market. It will help move that tech.
I'm so conflicted.
Apple is getting credit for this, and they don't deserve it. In 2015, the laws changed, and all credit card terminals are going to need to be replaced in a very short period of time. And most of the new terminals are going to support NFC anyways. But Apple's getting credit for it because they waited and timed their announcement to where all of this changes right when all of these new NFC terminals are rolling out to all brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
And so
they get to call all of them partners.
And I completely agree with you, Aaron. And it feels even doubly wrong in the case that Google's been pushing this for 3 years. Like for so long, vendors probably weren't just not embracing it; they're probably actively avoiding it because they were waiting to see what Apple would do. In this case. Finally, after all this waiting and delaying, it was being overcome. Stores were starting to adopt it, and as you say, it was just going to happen because everybody's replacing their terminals in the next year in the U.S. It feels like Apple is going to get the cheat in this case, and adopt it now after everybody else has done the hard work. But
yeah, this is totally off topic, guys. I have a conspiracy theory. So this like Gmail leak that just like magically came out of nowhere all of a sudden. I spent some time and tracked down where the password for the Gmail account that's supposedly leaked, right? Because it's a Gmail leak, even though none of them were actually a breach of Google's servers. It was other services that were breached, and then they just released Gmail addresses. which sounds really fishy to me considering the recent iCloud issues. But I tracked down, and it turns out it looks like my password was from Etsy, and that's where my password was, or my account was jeopardized like 2 years ago, because I don't even use that password for Etsy anymore. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me that this was, I mean, yeah, this wasn't Google passwords that were caught necessarily, but just probably hackers compiled from all kinds of places where they hacked over the years.
And wanted to make Google look bad. Because every news article is Gmail passwords leaked, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Other places were compromised, and then they only released the Gmail accounts.
I don't really buy the conspiracy, but I do understand how the media tends to do stuff like that too on behalf of Apple. So I'm kind of.
So it wasn't that Apple made it happen, but it's so Apple-like to say, hey, look, did you see this story? You might want to put this out. 5,000.
Oh yeah, that's a job of the PR guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're right. It is a story either way, but it was certainly spun to make Google look bad, and really Google had nothing to do with it.
Yep. All right. So out of the rat hole. So back to the.
Sorry, yeah.
Back to the iWatch or Apple Watch.
Drink again.
So there was a couple other applications that were sort of released. I mean, these are like internal applications. So this sketching thing, was there a name for it? I might have missed it. Anyway, we sketch those drawings. It's cute. It's kind of gimmicky, but the idea is you can draw little pictures, send it to your friend or partner or whatever.
What do you think? 2 weeks before it's on Android Wear?
It's interesting. I think maybe I'm not the right demographic, but someone might use it. The heartbeat seems way gimmicky, so gimmicky. I really don't want to. I mean, I love my wife deeply, but I don't want to feel her heartbeat all day on my wrist. It doesn't make me feel any closer. What else?
I feel like the multiple vibrating points. That sounds interesting. That seems interesting.
Say that again.
I guess it will the vibration notifications. There's different points of vibration. So you could have some notifications vibrate in the top part of it or the bottom part. I guess I don't know. I don't remember seeing that. But
it's not a vibration, guys. It's a pulse. Did you not hear Johnny Ive?
But you can get pulses. There's different types of pulses, I guess.
Yes.
That's Sir Johnny Ive to you, I believe.
Yes, Sir Johnny Ive. I'm sorry.
So there was also, let's see, Siri, moon phase detection. So it did have Apple Maps, which is kind of nice. It looked like a full Maps type interface.
So this what I'm screen sharing now, that totally looks like an Apple designed, music app, right? No, not at all. That's another one.
It seems a little so cluttered. Is that sort of the common? So I missed the whole, and that looks like fake. That looks like somebody just sort of put that together in a presentation for wearables.
It's terrible.
It's very possible that's the case. This is 6 months from being released, so we have no idea.
No, but weren't they playing with it? So I missed the whole. I was in the middle of a CTIA conference, so I missed all of this.
Let's just say they don't wing their demos at Apple. So
yeah, that's true.
So even the devices that all these guys are claiming they were playing with were fake?
No. The reporters didn't play with anything. They played with a mock-up that had a video playing, but it wasn't actually interacting with. If you look at any of the videos from anybody with a hands-on, they were just watching a video that was doing maps and watching a video that does other stuff and whatever. But on the stage, they were theoretically actually interacting.
I'm going to retract my comment about the bezel. Just based on some of these images, it looks like, I'm sure these are just renders, and so it's really easy to make it look like there's not a bezel there. But it's pretty clear there's definitely going to be a bezel there.
Does that remind you at all of the early Moto 360 mock-ups where there was no flat tire in those images?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. These are mock-ups. Let's be real clear about that. These are mock-ups, and while it looks like there's no bezel there, I have a feeling there's going to probably be an obvious bezel there.
All right. So I guess is there anything else before we move on that you guys want
Let's
to
move on. I'm
talk
sick
about?
of talking about this
Yeah.
thing.
It's cool. I don't want to give them too much credit until they're actually shipping because it's kind of seems a little unfair when all of these competitors are going to be on their next generation when the when the Apple Watch comes out.
Oh,
You did that on purpose.
That
That
one
was
felt like it
not
was
on
on purpose.
But I think you guys are safe from now on because we're not going to be talking about the Apple Watch anymore.
We might reference back to it. I'm only drinking a New Belgium Brewery triple.
Oh, you have to take two gulps.
It's a 7.8% alcohol. I only buy the strong stuff. Well, my wife only buys the strong stuff.
Only the best. So
Yep.
the other big sort of topic that I wanted to cover was the IDF, which didn't get nearly the coverage I think it should have in the media because it happened to coincide with Apple's announcements. But I was there for the first day. Libby came for the last day, and frankly, it was a very good conference this year. I went previously, last year, and it was okay then. I mean, it was a lot of server stuff, chips, typical Intel hardware type talk that wouldn't really fit into this program. But this year was way different, very developer focused. Spent a lot of time talking about the wearables, the industry of wearables, the Internet of Things, and sort of diffusing Intel into devices of all types, not just PCs. And I got to say, I was feeling really, really inspired afterwards. So I'm glad that they're really taking this market on. So a couple of topics, wearables related, that stuck out were first, Intel is partnering with Fossil. I don't know. Did we talk about this before? It might have come out just before. So they're partnering with Fossil, which, to my mind, is a great move. Fossil has a huge market share just generally in watches, especially watches in the $100 to $500 range. All of my watches from high school till I stopped wearing watches, up until smartwatches, were Fossil. I like the design, so I think it's a good partnership. Do you guys have any particular affection for Fossil or not?
I am a big Fossil fan. I have a collection of Fossil watches myself. It should go, and maybe you're getting to this, if you look at the list of Android Wear partners, there's a little company named Fossil on that list as well.
Good catch. I did not see that, but very good to know. And Fossil also is the owner of MetaWatch. So we've talked about MetaWatch before. I don't really see it going anywhere, but regardless, it's part of Fossil.
Meta.
Meta. It kind of had this watch that looked a lot like the Pebble. It's got the e-ink type display. It was supposed to be very stylish and such. Do you recall this? Anyway, it probably doesn't have a lot of market share at this time.
No.
So some previous Fossil smartwatches actually included a Palm device back in the early 2000s, and let's see what else we got noted. So Intel is also in deals with Thalmic Labs, the guys that make that band that goes around your arm, and Basis, of course.
Yep.
So anyway, good news. There was also a sneak peek of an upcoming Intel wearable later this year, which is the update to Basis, which is awesome for me because I really like Basis. I feel like they're the only ones in their space. Like for people that are just into quantified self, that want a lot of great health data, but it's not just the minimal stuff that you get from Android Wear devices or fitness bands, and not quite so extreme as the let's say Garmin type devices. I feel like this fits into a really good category, and frankly, my current Basis is getting dated, so I'm glad there's an update.
Nice.
So let me see if I can share the image real quick. Sorry, we have a little breaking the fourth wall here.
Saw it running by in the background. That was awesome.
So what did you see? I didn't see anything.
Nothing. It's an Easter egg for those who were paying close attention. Let's see. Oh, I've got to do this, huh?
iWatch.
Did you want to take a drink? Is that what you're saying?
All right. Can't do too many more. I'm starting to get numb cheeks. See, it's gonna be a mess in here pretty soon.
All right, so let's see.
I don't know if
There
you've
we
noticed,
go.
but I haven't stopped grinning for like 10 minutes.
So here's a little sneak peek of the Basis. It's going to be called the Basis Peak, coming out by Christmas this year.
Nice.
Just gauging by the by the size of the sensor there and the little nubs. If
Just
they're
a
still
comparison.
proportionally comparable to the Basis watch I have, this is going to be a much smaller device. Hopefully with like the 22 nanometer band. What have you got there, Aaron?
I was just
Oh,
showing
the-
the back of the Motorola where you can't even see the heart rate sensor.
Right, right.
So I'm hoping the
Yeah,
Basis
sometimes
has a really good heart rate sensor.
Yep. So I'm hoping that this is going to be as small as it looks. And for comparison, here we go. So this is the Basis watch as it currently is. And
So it's probably going to have a better heart
problem
rate
here is
sensor than
how
that one.
tall this device is. I mean, it's just very tall, and I'm really hoping that they've managed to shrink.
So it looks like Apple partnered with the same company Basis is partnering with, because the hardware for the component for the heart rate sensors, the optical parts anyway.
Similar.
Well, having infrared optical sort of thing technology isn't particularly unique. I don't think Basis is partnered with Apple, partly because they're owned by Intel.
No, I'm not saying they're partnered together. I'm saying
Oh,
whoever owns the intellectual property for that technology.
Yeah, it's probably because I think they're all using. It's all the same green light. Even the Motorola and the Samsung both use that same green light technology. It looks like they're just using bigger sensors that hopefully are more accurate.
Yeah, my point is they're all using someone's.
Oh yeah, somebody's getting
patent.
paid.
Yeah, exactly. So invest in that company.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention the name of the company for lack of the.
Will you tell me in chat, because
Yes.
I'm looking for new investments.
Well, they're not public, so you'd have to be a very
Damn it.
wealthy individual.
I am not that.
But
Not
yeah,
bad.
so this is the first time
It
Basis
might be actually. I don't know.
since being owned by Intel, which makes me very happy that again they're keeping this platform alive. So cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
another
awesome.
thing they showed off was the SMS smart headphones. These aren't particularly new. They showed off a reference design at CES. But these are heart rate monitoring headphones that they fit on like normal headphones, but they get a heart rate. You don't have an external power supply. It actually gets all of the power it needs from the headphone jack, which is nice. Yep, and they also showed off a couple other quick devices like their wireless charging bowl and the Mica, the MICA. That's the device that's very fashion-focused, $1,000 price range sort of thing. So probably not going to be on any of our wrists, but there it is. What else? Oh, got a little show and tell. So while I was there, I got to take a look at the Edison. Are you guys familiar with the Edison?
Edison.
Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is sort of along the lines of Internet of Things, but I think it's also tech that they're hoping will be integrated into to wearable devices. So this is it. It's about the size of a postage stamp, maybe just a tad bit larger. And as I was telling Aaron before we started, this chip is more powerful than the computer I took to college not that long ago. It's got a dual-core processor in there with a Silvermont 22 nanometer tech. It's got 4 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of storage, 1 gig of RAM, built-in wireless like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
What?
And it's this big, and the connection. It's very, very straightforward. So like on the back, you see like this little row of pins there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a variety of boards that come along with this, from ones that are not much bigger than this device itself. You can do your own custom boards, or even an Arduino board, which I have, but I haven't pulled out just yet. And all you do is snap this on. It feels like a button. It's that easy. So it's neat, and I'm hoping to start a project with it soon.
Is it going to be on Kickstarter?
Just be my own project, my little Arduino project. I want to build a weather station. I feel like that's a good start.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that makes next year's smart gadgets that much more exciting to anticipate.
Actually, as long as we're talking about this stuff, let me see if I can find real quick a little album from IDF.
Man,
There's
what
a
is
company called
next year going to
Smart
bring?
Fun. What's that?
What is next year going to bring? We can postulate on that in another episode.
So
That'll be good. We'll do that. That'll be like our last episode of the year, and then we can all meet up at CES and
Yeah, perfect.
be like, look, we were wrong.
So these are a couple of boards. These are the larger Arduino size boards. You can see this one over here.
It's like a Beagle board in there too.
One that's snapped on. This is a little robot that you can see the Edison popped on the top with a little breakout board there. Someone did like a helmet. They were based out of Portland, so very cycling conscious. This is the Mica, the fashion-y band. Charging bowl, headphones. Now this here from SparkFun, these are 13 different boards that each you can just snap that Edison right onto and support a variety of tasks. So, and from what I was hearing when I talked to people, it sounds like you can actually just have your own custom board made without too much difficulty. So, cool. Anyway, I'll be sure to go back to IDF next year. And I'm not just saying this because I work at Intel and I like Intel stuff. It really was pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems like it was an awesome event. I might have to try and go next year.
All right, now one thing we can all show off for a little show and tell is
look at that, man. I'm up
52% showed up on our doorstops.
52% already. I'll put it back on.
There we
Get
go.
me through the rest of the night. I mean, it's been off my wrist for maybe 45 minutes. So.
So, of course, talking about the Moto 360, which personally, I'm even more impressed with it having it than I was from the renders and stuff I was seeing online. It fits really well on my wrist. It's not as thick as I thought it might be.
Show off your watch faces.
Yeah.
So which one did you go with? I went with Classic.
I actually just whatever the default was looked pretty nice, so I kept it. I'm not sure if it's called Classic but it does look pretty classic.
This is Classic. Yeah.
Hold on. Hold that up there for a second. Ah, gotcha.
So it has the date in the middle, and then
Sure.
other stuff around the outside.
But for an on-wrist comparison, I mean, let's see, like, get more standard. And it's actually extremely light, so you can't tell this from looking at it. But it's very, very light. I mean, when it's under my sleeve, I don't even feel like I have any watch on. So I'm very happy about that. Now, the downside is that everybody's been complaining about the battery life. Battery life has been really, really not great.
It's subpar. It really is.
Yeah, I think this has been said, and I think Aaron made a good point earlier today. Actually, would you like to reiterate your point about the battery life, what it should be?
Yeah, I mean, all it needs to do is get you till you're going to bed. I mean, if it can get you to when you're plugging in your phone to go to bed, that's all it really needs to be, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, sure, it's nice that my Samsung on a long night lasts me till 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. with regular to, or moderate to heavy usage during the day. Because I do use my watch. I don't use the voice interactions, but I use it for checking notifications. I have a lot of chats going on during the day, and I'm reading those throughout the day. So I do use my watch quite a bit. I'm still getting 13 hours out of this, which is acceptable, but not good. It should get me through, obviously, 30 minutes of a charge at some point during the day. It would get me through all the way till I was going to bed. So that would be acceptable.
I feel like
don't care how it charges, just get me through the day.
Yeah, I feel like getting just making it into day is it's a little uncomfortable because when I put it on in the morning, I don't mind charging it at night, but I don't want there to be any question that it's going to get through the day. I don't want to have to just carry it around as a piece of jewelry because it doesn't actually work. I need it to be on and working. Yesterday was my.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
My first day with it yesterday was like I was expecting that everybody was playing around with it a lot, and that's why they're getting bad battery life. But personally, I got 8 hours. Like that was not cool. Today has been better. Maybe because it updated this morning. I'm not sure what happened, but it is better today.
It seems after the update, people are getting better life.
Yeah. You were gonna say?
I was just saying, it seems after the update, people are getting better life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
I got 13 hours yesterday. I got like 13 to 14 hours yesterday. I got just about 13 hours today. So if you can find 30 minutes to toss it on a charger, or if you've got, it's cool if you plug this thing into like a 2 amp charger, 2 amp plus, it charges super fast. And so you could put it on the charger for like 10 minutes while you're sitting in a meeting at your desk or something, and just get that charge in, and then now it's going to go all the way to you're going to sleep. But that being said, I think it's software. There's something going on. Like it drops from, well, it did the first day. Yet today it seemed normal. It drained at a normal rate throughout the whole day. But yesterday it dropped from 100 to 50. Like, I mean, a couple of hours.
They did mention people that have already torn it apart that internally it's a TI processor, which is quite old, about 4 years old. I don't know why they'd make that choice. I mean, maybe it saved a few bucks, but it just seems like a pretty bad decision. I don't know. We'll see. Price-wise, though, it's very good. I remember initially we were all speculating like $400, maybe $500. $250 is very, very good. I mean, it's $100 cheaper than the cheapest Apple Watch is going to be, and yeah, I think it's a good price.
What do you think about the design?
Design's great. I mean, once that flat tire is gone, in some future edition, that'd be even better. But it doesn't bother me right now, and I think it's the design is pretty well perfect. I mean, as far as my preferences are concerned.
Yeah, I wish Susie was on here because I was going to give her credit. Because she's like square watch face or rectangular watch. She's against the round watch face. And while I love how the watch looks. Like when I mute notifications right now, the watch faces on it are gorgeous. I mean, it really is beautiful. I love the whole device. The thickness is just fine. Maybe the only thing I would complain about is I would have preferred a like silver ring rather than a gold ring around the little button. But that's really minor. I'll show what I'm talking about right here.
Yeah, that's a little odd, but
they went with gold, but that's fine. The watch faces are just beautiful to me. I mean, I liked almost all of them. My problem is when I don't have notifications muted, and you have a notification. So just as an example, and there it went. It showed that I was disconnected from my phone all of a sudden. But that's not usable as a timepiece anymore. Really, I mean, you can tell if you take a second and look at it, it now dimmed, so it went away because I have it set to do that because I think it looks looks really nice. But now if that's not a good experience right there.
Yeah, I have had issues getting back to the home screen. So like sometimes I'm going through and like clearing off some notifications, or letting someone try it that hasn't used Android Wear before, and it seems to be a little bit cumbersome to get back to where you're hiding all your notifications. But that's software. They can fix that kind of stuff later.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because of the way Wear is designed, where it almost always shows a notification unless you mute notifications, it is really designed for a digital watch face.
Yeah, that's one thing that does bother me. Like the always peeking up notification. I really would rather, like, because I'm assuming that at any given moment I'm going to have at least one notification. Like,
right.
There's never a doubt. So like, if I could just swipe up from the bottom and get it when I want it, that would be nice. I don't want it to always be kind of teasing me. Yeah.
Use kind of what Glass does, where like when you get a notification in Glass and you look up, it'll automatically brighten the screen. But if you don't get a notification, you look up, it doesn't brighten the screen, or does it? Does it automatically turn on the screen if you look up? And there's no, it only does it when there's a notification, right?
I think no, because it'll still show you the time.
Well,
or whatever.
If they could do it only when you got a notification and you look, it shows the little peak. But if I don't have a notification and I look, it just so I need to rephrase that because I'm gonna always have a notification. But like a notification comes in, it vibrates, I look, it should show me that notification. No notification comes in, no vibrate, I look, it shouldn't show me a notification. Did that make sense?
Yep.
I think that made sense.
And if you're looking to pick up one of these devices, they're available right now. Well, they're available for sale at the Play Store, Best Buy, and Motorola.com, but they're sold out on all, so keep checking back. And in November, what's that?
Yeah, I said it's a great watch. I would call this a do-buy because I think they will fix the battery issue.
Gotcha. And so the only other thing is if you're waiting for the metal band, which does look pretty sweet on this device, you can change the one that's on there. But if you want the official one that's got the metal band, that'll be $50 more, so about $300 in November. Or you can buy the band alone for $80.
Sorry about that again. People in this office work really late, and they just stumble in drunk and start talking. So,
Not a problem. Did you have any thoughts on the Moto 360? We're about to move on.
no, you guys covered it.
Cool.
Okay,
All right.
Keith and I
I'm
are carrying the show
gonna
tonight.
jump through some of these stories because we're going.
Yeah, Jawbone integrates with Android Wear. I think that's great. I think
I'm just going to jump to the Google Glass, now available on Play Store. It doesn't seem like a beta product anymore. It's still called Explorer Edition.
It is
still the
a
same price.
very, very beta if you use it
So,
often.
yeah, I mean it is a beta product, but it doesn't seem like it's being treated like a beta product.
Oh, right. It's an open beta.
Yeah.
New category of beta.
Yeah, but Play Store is different. I mean, it was available before on some other ways, or especially if you got invites or whatever. But on the Play Store, I don't know. It seems like
so interesting fact. When Google launched in the UK, it was only available for purchase, to my knowledge, on. Well, I guess if it's to my knowledge, it's not a fact, but I know for sure that it was only available on the English Play Store or Play Store UK. So it launched in the Play Store. So if you were paying attention, you knew that at some point the distribution was going to come to the Play Store. Now,
is it still $1,500?
It is still very much $1,500. But now I'm thinking if you if you kind of study this a little closely, I'm convinced that the App Store for Glass will eventually, I'm guessing I'm sort of preaching to the choir here, but I don't know whether you guys agree, but will eventually go to the Play Store as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Wear category.
It will be. Well, it might just be Wear category is my prediction.
I think it will be. I think it'll be a subcategory of Wear.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, as we're running a little long, I'm just going to kind of jump over the rest of these.
Let's just keep rolling. Who cares? It's Friday.
Okay. Hey, Noble, you put a story in here. Samsung device. Do you want to mention what that's about?
So Samsung device. I'm pulling.
Diesel
I'm
Black
installing.
Gold, introduces custom Samsung Gear S at Runway Show.
What row is this? Oh yes. Black gold. Let me look.
Are these the new
yes. I'm sorry. Yeah. So over the last couple days, I've been in Vegas at CTIA. They showed up. They announced that Diesel. If you remember, Diesel makes a lot of fashiony stuff like jeans and very expensive shirts that no one can afford. Well, they does anybody have this up on the thingy?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I just pulled it up.
Yeah, and they're making these sort of trendy looking watches. Not my style, but very punk rock looking. I dare say they look better than the iWatch, at least for people who are fashionistas. I'm not the demographic. Frankly, I'm so not the demographic that I don't even wear my Motorola 360. Anyway, so different story. But yeah, I think.
Which one do you wear?
I still wear my Samsung Gear Live.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to it and save this for like nice occasions.
Yeah, that works. But yeah, so all in all, the Diesel is one of many different kinds of watch bands or customized experiences that Samsung products are going to have. I know they recently announced Swarovski as well. I have a picture on my Google Plus page, and if someone stalls, I can pull it up. Basically, a bunch of super over-the-top Swarovski crystal studded stuff from CTIA.
Yeah, I think we saw a sneak peek of that last week or something. Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, I missed the show last week. Sorry. Yeah.
Man, the Gear S is a really nice looking device.
It is cool. Yeah. All right.
Like that. Samsung gets props on making a device that looks like it has an edge-to-edge screen, not a big bezel on it as well. So. And those are product shots, right? Those aren't renders. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's close out with the lightning round real quick. There you go. So Weight Watchers is integrating Fitbit and Jawbone. So previously you had to manually enter this stuff if you're using this program. Now you don't have to worry about it. It works for Android and iPhone.
Good for them.
Which was sound effect. There you go. All right. Windows Phone finally gets a Jawbone app. So for those couple of people who have Windows phones, there you go.
Finally.
Congratulations, all three of you.
And HTC is abandoning the smartwatch that they never actually came out with. So
I was gonna say, HTC had a smartwatch? No.
there was a leaked picture. There was an actual device. They was using that Mirasol, nice Qualcomm display, but apparently it just didn't have a good enough market. So they are joining Nike and avoiding that whole market.
Is HTC?
Well, no, don't be fooled. Nike is playing.
I take that back. Nike abandoned the fitness market, not the Android Wear market.
No, they didn't abandon it. They just aren't going to make their own hardware.
They're not going to make their own hardware. They're very much in it. I'm sorry, I'm teasing.
Just for that, I watch. And
is this like another part of the writing that's on the wall that HTC might be in trouble? Well, wait, we know HTC's in trouble, but that HTC might be in bigger trouble than we think. Like, could it be getting bad? I don't know. I'm more worried about HTC. I really like that.
I don't want to jump to conclusions. I like HTC. They're making really quality hardware, which is not what I'm showing on the screen here. That's Samsung's little Swarovski display. I don't know. I don't know what's up with HTC. I mean, they kind of started the Android thing back in the day. Like the first G1 was an HTC phone. My first smartphone ever was an HTC on the Windows phone platform, Windows mobile platform.
Same here.
You know, I hope for the best, but I don't know. All right, so let's go on to events real quick. Kind of teased some updates, Aaron, about
Big Android Barbecue, October 16th through the 18th.
It's all about the barbecue.
In Hurst, Texas.
Get your flights now. They're about to get more expensive. And cool. The MoDev conference, Noble?
MoDev conference is going on. If you want to, visit the barbecue and get your stomach full and your Android experience, come check out some wearables and IoT stuff and get your
next week, right?
Yep.
Very cool.
I need to try making it out there. I think that'd be a fun conference.
That is a fun conference. It's a damn fun conference.
And
2 weeks ago, we made a plea to Timothy George to Google to represent, and they watched this show. So I just want to say thank you for representing barbecue. We all here on the panel take full credit for you joining.
Yeah. Hey, that's what it took. I had to go begging.
And channeling Cecilia here, I think she was promoting the Google Last DevCon here in the Bay Area. It's October 27th to 28th, and if you want discounts, sorry, it's too late. That was only until September 10th.
But there's another Cecilia thing that she's going to be talking at. It's Android TO, the largest Android conference in Canada on the 30th of October. There's going to be quite a few, like Tejas from Yahoo, who is a big glass explorer, is going to be there talking as well. Cecilia is going to be talking about Android for wearables, so it's very relevant. But definitely, if you can make it out to Toronto, if you're in Toronto, certainly check it out. And they have a fancy, nice little material website at androidto.com.
Yep, I know the guys that put that together. They're good dudes. B-Notions is the company behind that. It's good guys.
Awesome. Great. Well, it's been another good show, and hopefully we'll get the whole panel back together next week. We'll get Cecilia and Libby's opinions on the Moto and the Apple Watch. You don't have to drink on that one. I didn't finish it.
I'll drink it because I haven't finished it.
Too late.
All right. And on that note, I watch. See you guys next week. Bye.
Cheers.
I watch!